Hey, you out there on the cold, getting lonely, getting old, can you feel me? Hey, you standing in the aisle with itchy feet and fading smile, can you feel me? Don't help them to bury the light. Don't give in without a fight. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to a new video. And in this video, actually, I'm expressing my shower thought because as per the introduction video of my channel, when you visit my channel, there's a resume that comes in up front of you explaining that I am a Cisco certified network associate and I have already done my CCNA certification, aced my CCNA certification in January of 2024. And right now we are approaching the December of 2024. So what are my experiences after doing CCNA? Am I or have I become employable? So let's talk about this video, and this video will successfully transition into what to do if you want to study for CCNA, as well as what will be its outcome if you actually ace the CCNA. We will talk everything about it in this video. So first, my shower thought was because why I did CCNA, because I belong with a commerce background. Then in what random thought that the CCNA come to my mind that I should do it. And first I tell you that the CCNA is one of the most expensive certifications that you can get. So you just have to make sure that you don't left any stone unturned, because you might get your money wasted if you just did it for the trial purpose or for fun. So it was quite expensive for me. When at that time when I was doing CCNA, actually while I was studying, I was working as a tutor in Byju's. So I saved all my money in order to fulfill the fees expense, which was about $300 or something, for CCNA certification, which somehow along with costings and taxation uh, comes something around 29,000 or 30,000 approx. So it was a very very big hit for a low wage earner, or so for a quite humble belongings of mine, because I don't possess such a kind of enormous riches. So after acing CCNA successfully, and I would be very proud if I can show my results to you. But I don't have that currently. Yes, I may log into CCNA website and get the result from there, but it's a too much hassle. So let me explain it by vocally. And I will certainly show you my result. When I have that, I will scan that. I will click a picture of that and then I will show it on the screen. So by the way, after doing CCNA, basically CCNA measures your performance in 5 indexes depending on the routing information, your practical application of the networking, how much you are aware of automation, how much you are skilled in basically remembering the key terms or key names of protocols, the protocols specifications for like bits, bytes, etc., like that information. So the I scored almost 90% in automation, and around 60 or 70% in actual routing and stuff, routing, subnetting, etc. So that was very clear to me that I should opt for either network automation or in some form of web development, not web development specifically, but for the software development, because the scripting part of mine was the best thing. Always has been curious in learning a new programming language or understanding how a machine actually works. So it was quite a great experience. I have learned something, but what about the actual worth that I was targeting for by completing CCNA? Jobs. Did I get any job still? No. I am still working at a BPO, regularly searching for a job in my respective field, but I'm not able to crack any. Let me share your experience of one or two interviews that I have been in. So I am not naming the firm, but the interviewer, it was my first interview, in person first interview. The interviewer actually butchered me with his questions, and I am almost like mm, I don't have a single word. The interview was in English, and I was not fluent just a year ago in English as much as I can speak here. And by my break in fluency, you can certainly attain that I am not a native speaker, but certainly I am trying to be. So the interviewer butchered me with his questions, and the question was very simple. And when right now, when I think of that question again, it actually brings me a smile because the question belongs to something like our protocol. So, what happens when a PC initiates or the first time it connects to an internet? What happens? How it gets its IP address? So, I answered that we can either set the IP address by manual typing, which was not totally incorrect because we do have IP address command in our, for example, I am running Arch Linux, and here we can use IP IW config. Once again, IW config. Once again, actually, Arch Linux come with very minimal packaging, so we have to install the IW config even. But certainly, it comes with network manager that you can find here or in the settings. And as you can see, this is my network information. By the way, you might not be able to see because I am at the side of the video, but I am also not hiding that, but certainly you can see. So the interviewer butchered me, okay, and then I get back from there, and now after that, what did I do? I aligned for a new interview in a different company, and this time the interview was a virtual round. So I have exact time to prepare for the interview, not cheating in the interview, but to prepare. So what I did, I watched all my previous video on this channel about CCNA, the videos with the thumbnail of headphones in it. And I must say that these videos are the worst quality of video, not in terms of content, but in terms of actual bitrate and audio specifications, because the audio is quite muffled. Because at that time, I don't have these fancy headphones or fancy microphones that you can see now on a screen. So it was all recorded on a this second, yes, this earphone. So the audio was quite muffled, but I must say that the content is golden there. And if you are still studying for CCNA, I must request you to, along with using the jump cut extension that I've already told you, in order to fasten up the video, this jump cutter extension, you must watch these videos. The videos may be finished in 20 or 30 minutes because they are almost 1 hour long. But with this extension at your listening pace, you can certainly finish those videos in 20 to 30 minutes. And I must say, these are the golden words that helped me to ace my interview. See, the interviewer, when the interview was finished, I asked you for the review. How was my interview gone? What are my shortcomings? And they told me that you are definitely much better than the actual candidates who are fresher from a science or computer science background. So it was quite pleasing for me, but actually they opted for an experienced one. So I there also got rejected. Then then some monetary issues or financial issues hit me. Then I have to search for a job. Then I joined Tech Mahindra, and somehow with the help of UHR, and because the pay for a BPO is very less than, even less than a labor for a day, so I went for a Connect Corporation, and right now I'm currently working at that. And this is me in the 1 year about my job roles and experiences. So I'm still at Connect Corporation, and there what I did to excel myself in order to, because I want to keep myself relevant in the IT. So what I did is, when I have to take calls there for our client Bharat Pay, so I made a website called a SOP website known as Ashwarma c5.github.io slash Bharat Pay. You can also visit this website. This website is totally hosted on the GitHub site. And what it did is, actually we have some SOP or guidelines that we have to told to customer. So why I decided to build this website? If you click here, you can certainly see why I am intended to do so. Actually, my HBuddy, because we are in Connect Corporation, and Connect Corporation is a part of Q Group, which is of Quest Group. You can also see this information online, and it was once a part of Tata Group as well. So the SOP website is hosted on our actual company server, so it has to somewhere queue in it, just like the KD has queue in it in its uh, application. For example, for a registered trademark, for example, this console says KONSOLE console. So just like that. So here is the description of QBuddy, because QBuddy is a very slow F up website, which means that it was never up when a customer asked for a query. So I decided to make a spin of my own. So I launched this HBuddy. What does HBuddy do? You just have to enter your customer's query. For example, customer queries is relevant to settlement, that his account got blocked. So you have to select a settlement, and then a new drop down will be generated. And from there, you have to go to hold block, and we have to exactly specify that the hold block is for a specific amount, or a TMS means data team hold block, or cyber ya bank is denying the clearance letter for that hold. And you just have to uh, refer to the following information shown on the diff on the right side. So that's all that I have made. I've also made the dark mode here, and because I am starting to do some night shift, I also added a MP3 player here. So here I have the Pink Floyd Treasure, because I'm fan of Pink Floyd. I just used to listen these tunes when we don't have anyone in the night. So that was it. And this is how, and along with this, I'm also learning web development. But what to do when we don't have any calls in the office? Because in the night shift there are very silence. There may be 1 hour or 2 hour with no calls. So how did I make myself relevant to the IT field that I'm doing and I'm learning? So I started visiting, I tested multiple websites, multiple learning platforms on my office computer, but everything was blocked. But once a day, I visited this website called Cloudflare, because somehow my office computer is using this Cloudflare technology. So this website was exactly free to open. I mean that it is unrestricted on my office network. So I visited there and started engaging with it, and opting for various resources. And there I found the learning section. And I am very pleased to know that there is a learning center. It is. And because Cloudflare is a cloud first technology, which also involves the internet, hence there is very thoughtful topics that I discovered here. And in this video, I was intended to just revise and learn these topics one by one, because I have already learned most of the topics in the at the office time in the night. But still I want to share with you. So I just want to revise it and makes note of it, because some things, some explanations are just top notch, and I can't find a better explanation. And certainly it will also help you in your CCNA study. But before starting this, I just want to conclude our CCNA timeline with a single word. that CCNA is a mere basic thing. And after acing CCNA, you will also realize that the how much hype that we made for CCNA, that was not it. It's just a mere degree, just a basic understanding. It only qualifies that you know a little bit about everything in networking, but you don't uh, associate yourself with an expertise in any of the field. So it's a great thing, but still I don't feel that the $300 that I spent for CCNA is worth it. But certainly it have given me much confidence that I can talk with you. So it might be worth it. Who knows? Let the time tell it. It was quite a speech and I got hyped up. So let me hydrate myself. Give me a small 5-minute break. I will come back and we will discover the learning center in Cloudflare and we will see how it actually helps us. Okay. So I unpaused the recording and I don't know when I did that. So I have to just revisit the video and if I have to cut some scenes, maybe in a 1 minute or two, I have to do that. But let's forget it and let's continue our learning center journey. But why we are initiating the learning center? And why not study the CCNA systematically like all the other YouTubers is covering? And I will also trying to intend to do the same by my playlist. If I go to YouTube and 1 second, let it load. Where view your channel? And yes, you are at the video that I was talking about is Harsh Video Resume CV. And this actually shouts why my channel. And thank you guys. Thank you for the 43 subscribers, the 43 of you that you are joining me in my IT career or IT endeavor, as the ChatGPT says it. And if you look at this is my systematic way of studying CCNA. I made these videos, which is around 10 months ago, and this is the time before I actually given my CCNA exams or aced my CCNA certification. This was just a mere 20 or 30 days above the CCNA examination. So it's been 30 days since I aced my CCNA. So it's been almost 10 months since I aced my CCNA examination. So if you try to study the CCNA the systematic way, and I think that you may fail because not everyone is consistent enough to read the for CCNA from chapter to chapter. You just have to somehow get some form of head start because your life is not like this that you just go in this continuation. For example, if I how would I initiate this meta and print? No, no, no. I want to. Oh, no, no, no. Meta shift and print? Yes. So you just have to realize that life doesn't go like this, that you will progress like this thing. Life actually, the progress is actually like this. For example, let me pick a different color. Mm, red is the great. Okay, let's go with blue. So life is like this. You study something, then you forget it or fails it. Then you get a head start. Then you study for something. You keep it doing. Then you just left it. Then you again study something for something. Then you left it. And this same thing goes and you will certainly reach your goal, your desired goal. My computer is freezing like hell and I don't know whether my recordings are saved or not. So let's escape and exit it from it. And yes, my okay. So I thought that my OBS got freeze, but actually it was freeze because I am annotating on my screen. So never mind. So that is how we progress in our life. We just have to go in the flow by studying and stopping. So if you try to cover the CCNA systematically, I am very sure that you will start to forget the previous thing that you have learned. And even I'm not from a computer science background. If you have just the enough curiosity I am very sure that you already know the 30 to 40% of the CCNA. You just have to cover those 70%. And in order to generate curiosity for 70%, you have to study the relevant sources, like from Learning Center. For example, what is DDoS attack? How it can be prevented? What are the technologies used to prevent DDoS attacks? I've already heard that the CDNs are used to track. For example, Google uses CDN to track how and where a user visits the website and how its behavior on the internet. What is DNS? The DNS is something that is often blamed for not working in networking. That DNS always falls down and makes the whole network suffer. What can we do to implement the web application security? And what's a web application first? How can we improve our performance of the website, performance of the um, what to say, uh, networking devices, etc. Why does site speed matter? For example, learn about serverless. For example, I don't own a server, but I still can host the website, or I can actually make a firm without a single server and rent a server from somewhere else. And yeah, in CCNA, we also study about infrastructure as service, or code as service, or IaaC, infrastructure as code. What are those things? What is SSL? Something that we found the padlock icon in the Firefox, which says that connection secure, and it is verified by Google Trust Services. So, who are Google Trust Services? It is a vendor, or what is it actually? How these websites get a certificate? Do you know that your operating system or browser comes with authority of some specific certifications that says that the website is authentic? What is a bot? The bot are not only in PUBG or BGMI games. These are actually in websites or web crawlers, which crawls the website for information. For example, Google search engine crawler is also a bot. What is actually cloud? Cloud is actually nothing, but is simply the another computer which we don't have direct access to, but are rented. So clouds are simply the rented computers, if I'm not wrong. Next, what is zero trust policy? Should I implement it? How it actually helps in our website? What is SASE, which is pronounced as SASE? Actually, it is the Secure Access Service Edge. So, actually, what is Service Edge first? You have to be curious about it in order to ace the CCNA examination. What is the network layer? What is actually privacy? Is there any privacy left in the internet? Let's learn about the video streaming, because I am creating this video and you're watching it. What protocols are involved in watching the video? Do you know that you can actually, for example, if I start this video and if I right click it and go to stat for nerd section, have you ever visited this? Let me increase it. Have you ever visited this, that actually what codec, or what is actually a codec? What are the connection speed, the network activity, the buffer health for the video, the date, timeline, the video ID? What actually these things mean? You have to be curious in order to ace CCNA or any different examination that you come by. What is email security? And finally, the hype that is of current industry, which is artificial intelligence. What is large language model? Because we for everything, in my past video I have used, for example, playing quiz, writing scripts, writing code, I have used the LLM, a large language model called chat GPT, or some of its evolution, for example, Bing GPT. So what is a vector database, embeddings, etc, etc. So we will cover all of these in this video. And trust me guys, if you are curious enough and if you are sleepy enough, you can certainly watch this video while sleeping and you will fall asleep. And we will start with the DDoS attack first. So actually, what is DDoS attack? After reading this article, you will be able to what? Where it gone? What is DDoS attack? Okay, actually, one second. I think there was something that that was indexed of it. What is DDoS attack? Let me reload the website again. It is coming. Okay, never mind. So DDoS attacks are primarily concerned in internet security, and we will talk about its how its function and how they can be stopped. And after learning DDoS attack, you will certainly learn about the vulnerability in protocols. For example, HTTP protocol or the TCP protocol. Actually, how the TCP handshake and there's still an a TLS or SSL जो that works in website security also performs an handshake. So how these handshakes can be exploited. We will also learn that how actually the handshake works because it is a part of CCNA. So after being curious in these kind of topics, you can certainly ace your CCNA examination because the examinations actually concerns about the practical implication, not about the memory, or not it doesn't test about how your memory is. But even if that your concern that you have a weak memory, you can certainly try to visit a website called Anki Anki flashcards. So what is this? It is actually a flashcard, and the flashcard is provided by Jeremy IT Lab. I have already told many time in my earlier video that you must have to watch in order to watch some serious content about CCNA. This guy is just killing it. Jeremy IT Lab. One second, but before directly moving to Jeremy IT Lab channel, I just want to show you a post of mine. One second. Allow me a time. I am Harsh Verma, a Cisco certified network associate with over 5 years of teaching experience as a home tutor. Community. Yes, these are the guys. This is my CCNA certification, and the first guy, Jeremy's IT Lab. This channel is epic in terms of consistency for this CCNA. And this is the playlist which has currently 123 lessons. And this playlist is the reason how I studied systematically as well as sometimes not systematically too for my CCNA. This is the playlist that you all need to cover it. But after that, after completing this playlist or along with this playlist, I must tell you that you also have to visit the network no K Wallace CCIE. This guy is actually very great in deep diving something specific. For example, if you are curious about OSI model, if you don't get enough from that video and you still want to learn something more about it, for example, OSI model, you must have to watch this video. For example, when the time come for wireless networking, you must watch this 2 hour and 55-minute video, and you will learn almost everything that you need to ace for the CCNA. And actually, some of these videos also cover up to CCIE or even CCNP anchor level stuff. So these guys are great. And let me tell you one more thing. Network Chuck is the guy from which I actually learned what is CCNA and how it can help to actually boost my career. This is the guy, Network Chuck. And finally, David Bombal. This is the most consistent boomer kind of person that you find in industry. And the videos and the podcast of this guy with his friends are insane. This podcast, the how Network Check hacked the YouTube, and it is a podcast between Network Check, Chuck Keith, and David Bombal. And it is a great. The podcast is so good that I actually saved it offline for my sometime offline hearing too. It was just a golden content. You must visit all these channels. And if you feel that my channel is also great, that you must also visit this, and you will find some memes regarding existing BPU, superior BPU, and what does BPDU guard do to prevent from port being shut down. Never mind. And let's start with our DDoS attack. Study about DDoS attack. So, a DDoS is a distributed denial of service attack. So there is a reading mode available. And if I zoom it, yes, much better now. So DDoS, a distributed denial of service attack, is a malicious attempt to disrupt the normal traffic of the targeted server or service by overwhelming the target. So the keyword is overwhelming. DDoS attack can achieve effectiveness by utilizing multiple compromise system as source of attack. So right from the beginning, we will open our code editor or the favorite note taking app with all of my windows closed, and control K, control O, and development. And I think I should make a new folder again, but this time we will Cloudflare Arch. And there I have to create a readme file, readme.md markdown file. One second. Hmm. We close it, zoom it. Sorry for the struggle. And yes, now we can begin. So DDoS attack can achieve effectiveness by utilizing multiple compromised computer systems as source of attack traffic. Exploited machines can include server computers and other network devices such as IoT devices. From a high level, a DDoS attack is like an unexpected traffic jam clogging up an highway. So this is the level of explanation that the Cloudflare has gone to. A DDoS attack is like an unexpected traffic jam clogging up the highway, preventing regular traffic from arriving at its destination. Okay. So how does a DDoS attack works? The DDoS attacks are carried with network of IoT, the IoT or internet connected devices. These devices consist of network and other devices. The IoT devices are the regular devices, but with have a built-in network functionality to it. For example, your air conditioner. It does not require an internet to work, but the internet is baked in, so it can enhance its functionality. For example, a CCTV camera, which does not require internet to work, but the internet connection facility is built into CCTV camera in order to enable facility to view the feed directly to your smartphone or from anywhere in the world. So that are called IoT devices, which have been infected by malware, allowing them to be controlled remotely by an hacker or attacker. These individual devices are referred to as bots, and a group of bot is called botnet. Once a botnet has been established, I'm not actually going to read each line and every line one by one. And so I also ask you to actually uh, go with through me, but I will certainly point out the specific thing that I loved in this article. Okay, and we will copy these to our readme file here too for revision, of course. Once a botnet has established, the attacker is directly attacked by sending remote instruction to each bot. When a victim server or network is targeted by the botnet, each bot sends request to target IP address, potentially causing the server or network to become overwhelmed, resulting in denial of service or to normal traffic. Okay, because each bot is a legitimate internet device, separating the attack from normal can be difficult. How can we identify when site becomes slow or unavailable? then it is a symptom that a DDoS attack is taking place. Okay. Sometimes legitimate issues may also. Oh, 1 second. Sorry. I summoned the chat GPT. So sometimes the legitimate spike in traffic also uh, slow down a website. So actually, it is very difficult to tell whether a DDoS attack is taking place or it is just the regular. For example, in flash sales, when a single person uses his multiple accounts to purchase a product, and it is a kind of DDoS attack because it feels like it slows down the website when for a specific targeted URL for the product URL there are multiple requests from uh, at a single time. So if there is suspicious amount of traffic originating from a single IP address or IP range, or a flood of traffic from users who share a single behavioral profile such as device type, geolocation or web browser version, an unexplained surge in request. But actually the flash sale surge can be explained because it is a flash sale. Odd traffic patterns such as spike at odd hours of the day or patterns that appear to be unnatural. For example, a spike every consistent 10 minutes. So these are things are called DDoS attacks. And here we have something CCNA. For example, so different types of attacks target different components of a network connection, and it is necessary to know how network connection is made. A network connection on internet is composed of many different components or layers, like building a house from ground up. And this is the OSI model. The first thing, which transmits the raw bit frame over physical frame. Second, defines the format of data. Third, decide which physical path data will take. And fourth, actually transmits the data using protocols like TCP, UDP. 5, maintains the connection and responsible for controlling ports and session. Sixth, ensures that the data is in usable form when the data encryption occurs. And 7 is the human interaction layer, where application can access the network services. This is the best what to say OSI model diagram that you can find on internet. It actually explains what this things does. Kudos to Cloudflare for providing such golden materials for free to study. And while nearly all the DDoS attack involves overwhelming a target or device, attacks can be divided into 3 categories. An attacker may use one or more different attack vectors, cycle attack target vector in response to a counter taken by the target. Okay, so the attacks are divided into 3 types. First, may copy it and paste it because it's a very good question. Let me enable the word wrapping. Okay, the word are already wrapped and I missed said A. D, DOS. Attacks can be divided into 3 categories. What are them? They are first, first is application layer. Application layer attacks. Okay, next is protocol attacks, and third is volumetric attack. Application layer, protocol attack, volumetric. So starts with application layer attack first. So this sometimes refers to the layer 7 DDoS attack. Okay, and this attack targets the layer where the web pages are generated. For example, HTTP request. A single HTTP request is comparatively cheap to execute on the client side. You just have to visit a website, and that's how you generate an HTTP request, or most of the sense the HTTPS request. But it can be expensive for the target server to respond to because the server have to serve all the data for our request. So what will happen if we put or press the refresh button multiple times? The server have to respond to every press of my refresh button, and this actually cost resource to some this actually cost resource to that server, and we are actually initiated an attack. So this is an application layer attack example where every bot actually uh, requests some index.php website, and this is the target victim. And I think it should be a server, I guess. Okay, let me also open this next. And we have to paint using F9 and clear the screen using Shift F9. Paint with F9 and Shift F9 will clear the screen. And we first have to Shift F9, F9. Have to keep it inside so it won't disturb us. Okay, now we were talking about HTTP flood. This attack is similar on pressing refresh in browser over and over at a multiple computer at once. A large number of HTTP requests flood the server, resulting in DDoS. Types of attack ranges from simple to complex. Simple implementation may access one URL with the same range of attacking IP addresses, reference and user agent. Complex version may use large number of attacking IP address and target random URLs on a specific server using random referrers and user agent. So the simpler it is, the easier it to track down. For example, we just have to block that one single IP address and the DDoS won't fail. But the complex version is much tougher to target because now we are getting targeted from the different IP addresses and different devices at once. Next is protocol attack. Protocol attacks, also known as a state exhaustion attack. I just have to copy it, save it. Okay. Causes service disruption by over consuming server resources or the resources of network equipment like firewall and load balancer. The protocol attack utilized weakness in layer 3 and layer 4. What were layer 3? The network layer, and layer 4 the transport layer of the protocol stack to render the target inaccessible. For example, the SYN flood. What is a SYN? SYN stands for synchronization, and it is an analogous to a worker in supply room receiving request from front of the store. The worker receives a request, goes and gets the package and waits for the confirmation before bringing out the front. You just have to know a very few thing about TCP protocol, transmission control protocol. Okay, so what it does, in order to initiate and finalize a communication before sending data, actually it initiates a SYN attack, a SYN message which says that I am going to send you some data, are you ready for it? So the actual receiving device answer it with an acknowledgement message. So a SYN acknowledgement will be sent, and finally an acknowledgement is sent that I have received your confirmation and the data stream will start now. So this is how a TCP handshake works. And this attack actually exploits this TCP handshake, this sequence of communication by which two computers initiate a network connection by sending a target a large number of TCP ICR initial connection request SYN packets with spoofed source IP addresses. Okay, the target machine responds to each connection request and then waits for the final step in handshake, which never occurs, exhausting the target resource in the process. So actually waiting for the final step. What was the final step? The receivement of acknowledgement. So actually server waits that the client will send them an acknowledgement for the message that it just sent. And this wait time actually costs CPU. And finally, the volumetric attacks. This category of attacks attempt to create congestion by consuming all available bandwidth between the target and the larger internet. Large amount of data are sent to a target by using a form of amplification or another means of creating massive traffic. For example, a request from a botnet. Okay. Actually, the amplification attack is very, very, very pure form of attack. I love it. I don't know why, but this is like actually, for example, in our common world, we just when, we just have to order something from Amazon to a different address. But if we have a number from of theirs, we can put that number in the parcel and opt for cash on delivery. So what will happen, that the delivery boy will call that person, will present at their residence for the delivery for the thing that they has not ordered. And amplification attacks actually works by this philosophy. So we actually initiates a request, but we mark the address of the victim, and when the server actually responds, it actually the response to the victim, and the victim got jammed in the this attack especially. So the DNS amplification is like if someone were to call a restaurant and say, I will one off everything, please call me back and repeat my whole order. This is kind of overwhelming, but I am very sure that my example is very quite much more clearer than this, where the callback number actually belongs to the victim. So we can say that where the delivery address actually belongs to the victim. With very little effort, a long response is generated and sent to victim. And with very little effort, you just have to order something. A very long list of items is generated and delivered to the victim. And by making a request to open DNS server with a spoofed IP address, the IP address of the victim, the target IP address then receives a response from the server. And the process of mitigating a DDoS attack. The key concern in mitigating a DDoS attack is differentiating between the attack traffic and normal traffic, and which is very difficult to do and tough to do. For example, if a product releases has a company's website swarmed with eager customers, cutting off all traffic is a mistake. This is just saying that if you want to do a flash sale and then cut all the traffic that the buyers are coming for, then it is a mistake. If a company suddenly has a surge in traffic from known attackers, efforts to alleviate the attack are probably necessary, because we can flag something as known attackers, and this website or this web page somewhere in this web page, this has a very very good example that you don't do a bank transaction using a internet of things device, for example a CCTV camera. So what does a CCTV camera has to do to go on a banking website? Because this CCTV camera also got an IP address, and this IP address, if found, is pinging or browsing some banking website, then certainly it is an attacker who is utilizing that device in order to DDoS the banking website. And this example actually won my heart. So I bring you this Cloudflare website and reciting its article to you. In the modern internet, DDoS traffic comes in many forms. The traffic can vary in design, from an unspoofed single source attack to complex and adaptive multi-vector attacks. The multi-vector DDoS attack uses multiple attack pathways in order to overwhelm a target in different way, potentially distracting mitigation effort on any one trajectory. An attack that target multiple layers of the protocol stack at the same time, such as DNS amplification, targeting layer 3 and 4, coupled with HTTP flood, targeting layer 7, is example of multi-vector DDoS. And mitigating a multi-vector DDoS requires a variety of strategies in order to counter different trajectories. Generally speaking, the more complex the attack, the more likely it is that the attack traffic will be difficult to separate the normal traffic. And the goal of attacker is to blend in as much as possible, making mitigation effort as inefficient as possible. So mitigation attempts that involve dropping or limiting traffic indiscriminately may throw good traffics out with the bad. And the attack may also modify, adapt to circumvent countermeasures in order to overcome a complex attempt at disruption. A layered solution will give the great benefit. Okay, so what it is saying that there's a Hindi kahavat called the Hindi saying actually that says that jaw ke saath ghun bhi pist, which means that uh, yeah, I actually recall it. Offer with wheat. Separate the wheat from the chaff. Kind of this, because if you want to block the attacker, you may wrongly block the actual traffic that you want the website have. And that is simple. So we have some solutions. For example, black hole routing. The one solution available to virtual all network admin to create a black hole route and funnel traffic into the route. It is the simplest form when black hole filtering is implemented without a specific restriction criteria. Both legitimate and malicious network active traffic is routed to a null route or black hole and dropped from the network. And if an internet property is experiencing a DDoS attack, all the properties internet service provider may send all the site traffic into a black hole as defense. It is not an ideal solution, making is effectively gives the attacker their desired goal. It makes the network inaccessible. Oh, one second. Let me write this as double hash. Solution to DDoS. What are it? First is black hole routing, and the second is rate limiting. Rate limiting is limiting the number of requests a server will accept over a certain time window. And this is also a way of mitigating the denial of service. While rate limiting is useful in slowing web scrapers and for mitigating brute force login attempts, and it only likely be insufficient to handle a complex DDoS attacks ineffectively. Nevertheless, rate limiting is useful component in effective DDoS mitigation. And the next is web application firewall. So we can also use web app firewall. Is a tool that can assist in mitigating layer 7 attack. By putting a web application firewall between internet and origin server, we also have to learn what an origin server actually is. The web application firewall may act as reverse proxy, protecting the targeted server from certain types of malicious traffic. And we also have to study what does reverse proxy actually means. And it is also a topic of CCNA as well. And this website has a very good explanation what is reverse proxy and how it actually protects the server. So by filtering requests based on a series of rules are used to identify DDoS tools, the layer 7 attacks can be impeded. One key value of effective web application firewall is the ability to quickly implement custom rules in response to an attack. Okay, and then it is an unicast network diffusion. We also have to study about unicast addresses in the CCNA. So this mitigation approach uses an anycast network to scatter the attack traffic across a network of distributed server to point where the traffic is absorbed by the network. So instead of a particular address targeting a single server, what anycast does is actually it spreads the pressure of that single multiple request to different server. So it is much like it actually prevents the network from being stabbed by a request. So it actually makes the knife blunt because a sharp knife can easily be able to stab, and a blunt knife will not be. And it is like channeling a rushing river down this separate smaller section, and this approach spreads the impact of distributed attack traffic to point where it becomes manageable, diffusing any disruptive capability. The reliability of a anycast network to mitigate a DDoS is dependent on the size of the attack and efficiency of the network. An important part of the DDoS mitigation implemented by Cloudflare is used of anycast distributed network. And here is some facts from the Cloudflare. The Cloudflare has 296 terabyte per second network, which is in order of magnitude greater than the largest DDoS attack ever recorded, which is very good. And for this particular article, this is it. And we also have these following to study. So it switching back and forth. Yes. So we also have to study this. We learned what is DDoS attack. Then we have to study what is DDoS botnet. Then we have to study about common DDoS attack, flood attacks, DDoS tools, glossary, and the net. We will study all these. And let's see what time has been. It already been an hour. And in order to complete our night shift, I have to make lunch for the night or the dinner for the night. So I have to quit right now. And actually, I felt my heart out while making this video, and I'm very sure that you will also like this too. Thank you for joining me, and we will completely study the Cloudflare website from now on. A video a day, every day. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining me here.